The next question is E21.4. Assume that on December 31st, 2021, Stora Enso signs a 10-year non-cancelable lease agreement to lease a storage building from Sheffield Storage. The following information pertains to this lease arrangement. So number one is the agreement. It requires equal rental payments of 71,830 beginning on December 31st, 2021. The second one is the fair value of the building on December 31st, 2021 is 525,176. And then number three, the building has an estimated economic life of 12 years, a guaranteed residual value of 10,000 and an expected residual value of 7,000. Stora Enso depreciates similar buildings using the straight line method. And then number four, the lease is non-renewable. At the termination of the lease, the building refers to the lessor. And then number five, Stora Enso's incremental borrowing rate is 8% per year. The lessor's implicit rate is not known by Stora Enso. So instructions A, prepare the journal entries on the lessee's books to reflect the signing of the lease agreement on and to record the payments and expenses related to this lease for the years 2021, 2022, and 2023. Stora Enso's fiscal year end is December 31st. So for A, we should start with the calculation of the present value of the lease liability. So the present value of the lease payment still the same. Use the present value formula. The rate is 8%. The period is 10 years. Each rental payment is 71,830. The future value is 0. And then the type is 1 because it's annuity due. So the present value of the lease payment is 520,544. And then from the question, we can see that the guaranteed residual value is 10,000. Meanwhile, the expected residual value is only 7,000. So it means that there are 3,000 that Stora Enso must pay to the company, okay, or to the lessor. And this must be included into the calculation of the present value of this liability. So use the single sum present value formula. 3,000 divided by 1.08 because the rate is 8% at the power of 10. So the present value is 1,390. The total present value of this liability is 521,934. So if you want to make the journal entries for 3 years, it is easier that you make the amortization schedule first. So just like the way you do it usually, we have the date, lease payment, interest expense, reduction of lease liability, and carrying amount of the lease liability. So for 31st December of 2021, it will start with the present value of the lease liability and then directly with the lease payment. So there won't be any interest expense. The lease liability will be reduced by the lease payment. Okay, so you will continue it until 3 years. Okay, the interest expense is 8% from the carrying amount. So for 2021, the beginning of the lease, we must record first about the right of the use asset and lease liability. So debit right of use asset, credit lease liability 521,934. Okay, which is what we have calculated. And then directly we pay the lease. So debit lease liability, credit cash 71,830. On 2022, we need to record first of all the depreciation of the lease asset. So very simple, only take the right of the use asset amount, okay, divided by 10. So 1 year the depreciation is 52,193. Yeah, the journal entry is debit depreciation expense, credit right of use asset. And then you must record also for the lease payment. You can just focus on the row of 31st December 2022. So debit interest expense of 36,008, and then debit lease liability 35,822, and then credit cash 71,830. The third year for 2023, it will be just the same. Okay, you just record the depreciation and also the lease payment according to the table. And then B, use the same fact as above, except that Stora Enso incurred legal fees of 5,000 resulting from the execution of the lease and received a lease incentive of 1,000 from Sheffield to enter the lease. How would the initial measurement of the lease liability and right of use asset be affected under this situation? So this is the initial direct cost that can affect the right of use asset amount. So for the lease liability itself, it will be the same. Okay, only that the right of the use asset must be adjusted. Okay, so we take the lease liability as the base and then plus the initial direct cost, okay, and then minus the incentive. So the right of use asset amount now is 525,934. And then C, suppose that in addition to the 71,830 annual rental payments, Stora Enso is also required to pay 5,000 annually for insurance costs on the building directly to lessor, Sheffield Storage. How would this executory cost affect the initial measurement of the lease liability and right of use asset? So this 5,000, actually it is known already and it is regularly. So because of that nature, we must already include in the rental payment for every year. Yeah. This is called as the gross lease. Okay. So we will recalculate the present value of the lease liability uh, using the same data from A, okay, and then you just add one more line for the insurance cost or the executory cost, okay. Still the same using the present value, 8%, okay, the same rate, 10 years, 5,000, which is the payment of the insurance cost, and then 0 also, and 1 for the type. And then you will get the present value of the insurance cost, 36,234. So now the present value of the lease liability amount is 558,168. And then D, return to the original facts in the problem. Now suppose that at the end of the lease term, Stora Enso has taken good care of the asset and Sheffield agrees that the fair value of the asset is actually 10,000. Record the entry for Stora Enso at the end of the lease to return the storage building to Sheffield, assuming the accrual of interest on the lease liability has already been made. So in the beginning, the expected residual value is already 7,000 and we have included that 3,000 into the lease liability calculation. So now actually what happened is that the residual value at the end of the lease is 10,000. So uh, it has covered that 3,000. Yeah, means that Stora Enso doesn't have to pay that 3,000. Therefore, the journal entry is debit lease liability, credit gain on lease 3,000.